There's our special guest for the evening. That's the reason the bus won't move. Now, judging from just the angle of the shear, I guess you'd call it. I'm going to say she sat like this. Now granted, the thing was, when we run it, anytime it was running, basically this was spinning and this wasn't, so it, of course it's chewed some of it off, but I should be able to figure something out here. That looks, I like that. Okay. It sucks that so much of this got chewed up. Put some gloves on. Now I want to get it down to as clean as I can, but at the same time avoiding this edge like the plague, because we're already going to be short enough of material as it is. I don't want to go grinding any more off. I mean, they're pretty much all on their way out, so I'd say it was original, but from the looks of it, I mean, you could see those where these are starting, so this side of the thing would have looked probably a lot similar. I mean, once one starts wiggling, then it's just weak links in a chain, basically, I guess. So there's no good way, so I guess we'll just make our own. That's how it ought to look. Jesus, it's going to be a lot of welding. And I guess the big goal here will be having it to where the torque converter will still bolt up out here, and then that end of that crank will match, so don't have a whole lot of room for a fuck up here, which is whatever, is what it is. Where's that fucker need to sit? Honestly, there's more here to work with than I thought I was going to have, which I'm glad for, but whichever the last one to break was, I guess it'd be this one because it's bent the most. Guess I'll just go ahead and about there, find a couple edges and get them right where they look the best. I mean, go ahead and tack them. And if this fails, there'll be no question about, you know, my abilities as the failure point. If this doesn't work, this is clearly a Hobart thing, so, you know, just throwing that out there. Just kidding. Just got to go for it. Still a hell of a gap, but at least we know we'll get good penetration. So I guess that's more or less what it should look like. I mean, I'd say that's about as good as it's going to get. I'm just going to let it cool off and see what the fuck it's going to do. Not do anything weird. And just eyeballing it. Could be a lot worse. On these cracks back here, I'm not exactly sure. So, I mean, you can see they're just aiming to basically do what these have already done. Now, just went ahead and went the full brunt of where the crack is gonna go. Maybe go ahead and drill a hole in the middle. Try that. This is definitely one of the things, the more you look at it, the more you realize how bad an idea it is. But it's not going to scare me if we don't have a choice. I had the thought of taking something about that size, because as you can see, it's sucked in a little that one way. Putting it like that, and it won't sit, you know, completely down on the table, and then just taking regular old screws and running down through these, not sucking it all the way flat to the table, but just holding with each other, just so that sucker's flat, and the less it's going to want to move, I'm thinking. So there's no crazy force on any one particular area, and that should be decent. I mean, the whole process is still going to be slow goings at best, but this will help. I don't know, I think hop around in no particular fashion. Well, kind of like a star. See how it goes. See how it goes. Not going to hold my breath too hard, but every forum or anything I look at online, as soon as somebody even breathes or makes mention of welding a flex plate, all of them are just, no! Can't be done. So, we're going to find out. This is for science. So, we're doing a service for all mankind at this point. So while Operation Weld the Flex Plate was a success, as you can see, it turned a little, curly. So I'm going to try and use the ever-growing Harbor Freight bench press and see if we can't get it to lay down a little bit. Got the money's worth out of the tire. Now we just use it as the sketchy press setup. I just heated this with a torch, and now we're going to let it cool and take that pressure off and see if it looks any better. Since my curve is here where these two sides where it pulls up, I'm going to heat just here, which should expand and push those down. I don't know, worth a shot. Well, there it is. It looks hideous, and it's still got that bow to it like a potato chip. But I'm hoping that once I bolt these down, that'll kind of help flatten it enough to where the torque converter will be able to come through and then just finish the rest of the way up and get it good enough. So, one thing I will say was I've been beating the shit out of this thing, heating it, cooling it, bending it, and not one of these welds broke, so confident there as far as it being able to flex and not break. Alright, well, I've got what I'm pretty sure is the plug from up there, so I can put torque converter bolts in. And now I'm just going to go ahead and bolt that flex plate in up in there and see about sliding this fucking nightmare back together. Well, it seems like that plate has flattened out a hell of a lot as I tightened it, so I feel better about that. Hell, I even got the clicker stick out taking the torque. And that one bolt we're missing, well, from a dead homies. Many hours have passed. It's back on there, everything's in. Now it's just spinning the torque converter to get all the way through 3 layers of hell to hopefully get the bolts in that hole. And I mean, as far as just about to drive me insane, yeah. So hopefully here, this fucking napkin trick works to hold the damn hold that fucker still, because I gotta stick it through there. Basically that trick is take your socket, piece of napkin, then jam that fucker in there, and should stay in there till hell freezes over. But I don't know. I gotta fish it all through this shit. Alright. I ain't got nothing to hold this, so it's later than fuck. I give up for the night. Cranny's on. Now it's just the goddamn torque converter bolts to that flex plate are not being easy. So fuck it. I'm going the fuck home. How many neutrals has it got now? Oh, it's trying. Holy shit! It's been an adventure. Too long of an adventure. It's a different season. But this thing moved, I saw it. Almost ready to go. I don't know who dropped this meth lab off, but they better not leave it too long or I'll hook it to this bus. Fuck laying in this fucking mud. A month of struggling. Jesus. Please start. That'd be cool. Birds die in the damnedest places. Oh. But yeah, I still got the floor sunroof still there and well. Oh. Will it play music or is that too much to ask? Well, now that it's up here at the shop, before we leave, got a steam cleaner here. And I really don't think I'm gonna have the chance to steam clean this old bitch underneath ever again, so. Voltage is jumping around, but I got a lag screw running into the back of the alternator because I found a bad connection. So I think we're just going to send it. Yeah, the alternator didn't end up working at all. Basically, it was a race to get home before the lights. But I did have to make a pit stop at a local watering hole. Because, I mean, you're only in a party bus once.
Now here was the fun part. After I got done and was back on the road, it's going about 50-55 miles an hour, and a battery exploded. So basically lost lights, engine, all of it. Had to drive by feel pretty much, which in a bus is pretty fucked.
Hurry up! Jesus! Where's that fucking wrench?
So there's a lot of yelling and confusion. Also, I didn't have a flashlight, which was awesome. And being that I didn't have a light, this is pretty much how it looked.
What the fuck? Motherfuckers! What the fuck? The final challenge. Three bolts holding the torque converter to the flex plate. The flex plate is entirely welded. One more big ass hill and then we're home. Here we go. Please make it. Oh, I hear it. Oh God, I hear it. Come on. Oh God, Jesus. Come on, bitch. Holy shit, you didn't hear that flash plate. Wow. I didn't know if we were going to make it there for a second. Jesus. Fucking did it.
Only question is,
Now what?
it's kind of bigger in the daytime. Ugh.
I'm not gonna lie. It's a pretty relaxing place to sit and take a shit. Nice view. Now when you're done, kick the door open, got the porch out here. AKA little trailer. Shit, yeah, Bob Vila ain't got nothing on these home improvements. And that, and this all came out of the junk pile here. Tow bar for old Doris there. because I got too many trucks at work. I'm going to get some 7018s, pull something together here. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. It's getting fucking ridiculous. I think that right there is a good place to pick up tomorrow about lunch break. Since the main amount of flex in a tow bar is it's going to want to push off to the sides like that when you turn, especially if I'm going to use these old snowplow edges I cut. I'll weld those suckers down. And if that ain't going to be strong, I don't know what is. Oh, there you have it. Pieces of scrap, bits of cutting edge off snow plows. It's no good anymore. And just heim joints for implements. Put them to where they just thread into the front of the frame rails. Run your bolts through, there's your wires. Plug it in and get the fuck out of here. It ain't just for decoration. Boom. There you have it. That tape has no shit been on this thing since I made that video. There's a lot of nuts and bolts that ain't really been checked since I just started driving it. And it's been at least 2,000 miles at this point. Hey, it ain't shot. Yeah. Safety chains are on and crossed. I got this thing, so if it comes off up there, it doesn't pull off this piece of shit. A whole new dimension. There we go. That's what's getting us home. Homemade special. About 55 on these country roads is plenty. I'd call it a success. Well, the adventure's over. Every piece of shit we set out with, plus the one we want, is here at the house. So now the question is, what the hell do I do with this bus?